Yes, sir. We are live. Hello, this is Bitcoin Libertarian, and here we are again with another episode of our weekly show, Bitcoin Treasury Company Report. Here I am with Batistoshi today. Immortal is a little bit sick. He's getting better, and here we are with Batistoshi. How are you doing, Marco?
Yeah, Fernando, I'm doing great, and I hope Diego will be better soon, so you can join us on the next one. And yeah, we will have probably a shorter episode today, but pretty dense. So
okay, sure. If it's gonna be short, let's go straight to the episode.
Yeah, I would say we can start with BlackRock.
Okay.
Announcing a new instrument, Fernando. So maybe let me quickly share the screen here, and then we can see it. Because I think it's interesting for a couple of reasons. So as we can see here, BlackRock doubles down, of course, after the massive success of IBIT in February of 2024. Now they decided to file for a new product, Bitcoin Premium Income ETF, aiming to generate income through a covered call strategy on Bitcoin exposure. So I think the idea here is for BlackRock and for like institutional investor. Now Bitcoin is more mature. Now Bitcoin is becoming like a financial asset that is inside also into Wall Street. And they also now are trying to do more, particular instrument, also try to generate income. And normally covered calls are very positive if you expect that the price of Bitcoin is stable or with a slight upside, and you try to remove all the volatility factor from the asset itself. So for me, how I read it that they don't expect the massive the 4-year cycle to play out. So we don't see they don't see the bear market looming at the horizon. And that's why probably they selected this time to sell this kind of instrument, because again, the covered call should work better when it's flat or slightly into the upside.
Yeah, obviously covered call is a good way to do cash, to make cash, especially when the markets go sideways, not when you are experience a huge volatility. So that's what I was thinking about that. And I was checking with the, first of all, as you might see, the market and the analysts from BlackRock are not waiting for a bear market. So this is another sign that probably the 4-year cycle are over. These are not the financial gurus doing crap on YouTube for views. This is BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world. So, and on the other side, what I thought, I was trying to understand, I think that this ETF is more similar to the stretch instrument of Saylor, can be, or I am missing something?
I mean, in certain sense, it might look similar if you can have a very strong cash flow, similarly to the dividend of Stretch. But again, Stretch is almost like a stable instrument with $100 par. That's the ultimate goal, and also a very stable dividend, which is like around 11%, plus minus 25 basis points. This instrument is more similar to like an hedging strategy, more like structured derivatives finance, in which you can again expect for the next 6 to 12 months a certain movement and behavior on the underlying asset, and then you try to remove volatility and try to generate extra income. Again, if the strategy is correct, you can amplify to a certain extent Bitcoin returns. But if Bitcoin starts to become super volatile on either directions, this strategy is not gonna work at all. Yes. Because if it's going bullish, you sell the potential exposure via the call that you are selling, so you lose the potential upside. And if it's going to the downside, you don't have much, premium to collect. So it's, again, I think they expect really like a more consolidation for the next short term.
Yes, totally agree on that. And from the investor point, of course, we don't give any investor advice, financial advice. And to be honest, as I always said, if you are buying IBIT or any ETF, you are not buying Bitcoin. You're just getting exposure to Bitcoin. But from the investor point of view, what are the difference from investing in the original IBIT ETF and on this ETF? What are the advantages and the disadvantages from the investor point of view?
Yeah, I think IBIT is simply the synthetic exposure to Bitcoin. You just pay a small fee annually for BlackRock to manage the position and to custody for you, but is actually 101 representation of Bitcoin. It's not real Bitcoin, but it's the 101 representation. With this other instrument, I would say is more for more seasoned investors, for like more experienced investor, or for hedging strategies. So for example, if you're an institution and you have like a big exposure into already spot Bitcoin or like some, I don't know, call, maybe this one, it's like an in-between in which you can have more income, having BlackRock that for sure will be, you know, very good in managing these covered call strategies, and then potentially generate more income on this side. So I would say they're pretty different. But ultimately, if the strategy is correct from BlackRock for the next 6 months, of course, this ETF should have additional income, so should be performing better than IBIT.
Excellent. And what can be the impact on Bitcoin price of this kind of ETF, of this instrument?
Yeah, I think Wall Street is, I mean, now after almost 2 years, they hold their hands on Bitcoin. So I'm expecting that this kind of price range will continue as long as we don't have a massive external shock that might also blow up those big players, and then maybe Bitcoin can go again in price discovery. As long as the situation is more or less under control, I think they can cap the upside, they can cap the downside, and they can just kind of force Bitcoin into a certain channel, because again, Bitcoin is small. It's like less than 2 trillion, and it's very still concentrated in few hands that have a lot of majority of coins. So it can easily be, I don't want to say manipulated, but kind of controlled into a certain range. But again, if Bitcoin is true and is working as intended, at some point we might see a shock, and then once the shock will apply, also those player needs to cover, and so maybe we go to new all-time high in price discovery. But from what I'm seeing, institutional are thinking that 2026 might still be for Bitcoin like a consolidation year.
Yes, I think the same, because I'm listening to Jack Muller's other analysts, and when I try to study the geopolitical side that is happening around the world, I'm trying to understand why gold and silver are moving the way they are moving, because if you watch the graphic of gold, it looks like a shitcoin.
A shitcoin,
like,
yeah.
A shitcoin going up.
Yeah,
and we were sold this narrative in the past years that Bitcoin cannot move so fast because of the market cap, and we saw gold moving incredibly high with a much bigger market cap. Silver, even with similar initial market cap with Bitcoin, made a great jump. And possibly, and I think that I want to share with you and ask you what you think about that, is that we are witnessing a change on the financial paradigm. The globalization is broken. The US dollar is, of course, losing their position as the global currency of the world. And that's why, together with the Japanese problem of the bonds, that the yields are going up, and Japan might be forced to sell US bonds, treasuries, and United States now is willing to save Japan, is willing to buy yen. Same what they did with Argentina last year. The market, and especially the big players like China and other countries, are like seeing that the big print is coming. So the first movers are gold, silver. But when the print starts going on, Bitcoin will move parabolic. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Fernando, I think it's a very good summary, and I really believe in what you are saying. So normally gold and silver are like smelling the debasement first. As long as gold and silver run, for sure you remove some money flows that might have gone to Bitcoin and got stuck to these are real hard commodities. But I think that what you said is perfectly true, that at some point those parabolic move on like gold and silver cannot like last forever. Also for those commodities, you will find an imbalance between demand and offer. And then if you have this squeeze to the upside, there will be also a correction to the downside. Normally when gold and silver correct, they correct for multi-years. And I think the rotation then might be into Bitcoin when the real print occurs. And I think it's all connected. So as long as gold runs, in the short term, it's bad for Bitcoin because it removes oxygen. But at some point when it will stop, I think Bitcoin will be very compelling. And then investor might see Bitcoin as a new kind of really big asset class to allocate. And then maybe the extra profit will rotate into it.
Yes, I think so. So maybe what BlackRock is seeing, because this analysis doesn't come from me. I listen in the Jack Muller's podcast. Of course, he's a person that is much smarter than me, but makes sense. I try to try to analyze this, and I think makes sense. And now that you say that BlackRock expects like probably a quiet year, not going up so much, not going down so much, it can say us something.
Yeah, it can reaffirm this thesis. So maybe gold and silver, they still have some more months or maybe half part of the year to run. And then maybe the second part will be more favorable to us. So overall, I think it's like 50-50.
Yeah, in Polymarket, I saw that this 78% probability of gold hitting 5.5K per ounce by June. So we are now into 5.1. So let's see what happens. I think that yes, this gold and silver stuff, of course, are not good in the short term for Bitcoin, but in the long term are good because they are showing us that the fiat.
Yeah, what's the path?
The fiat is the problem. So, and when people understand that we have a better solution than a rock that you can take from the earth, a better solution for storing value, I think that Bitcoin will move parabolic too.
Yeah, and Fernando, I mean, discussing about Bitcoin and gold, I think sometimes we are this biased with the US dollar as the denominator. We discussed so many times in the show. I think this chart is it went pretty viral on Twitter, and I think the reason is pretty obvious. If we see Bitcoin priced in gold, we see this constant pattern of around 13 months of bear market. And actually, Bitcoin now is 14 months in bear market against gold. Not against dollar, because dollar has been debased for the last 18 months. And so we have this optical illusion that that Bitcoin is not in a bear market, but probably Bitcoin in gold terms is in a brutal bear market. And it seems to me that if this chart will keep like proving itself right, the worst might be behind us, and now it might seems like the moment to become more confident again on Bitcoin compared to gold, and ultimately also compared to dollar.
Yes, compare from the all-time high against US. When Bitcoin reached the all-time high against gold, I think was around November 2024.
Yeah, it was November 2024.
That was the all-time high against gold, and since that moment to now, we are 60%, around 60% down from gold in comparing Bitcoin in gold terms.
Maybe Fernando even more with the less movement in gold. So almost 70%. So it's a brutal bear market in gold terms.
It's a brutal bear market in gold terms. So I think that we agree with Diego, and I think that you as well, that 2025 was the bear market for Bitcoin. And we saw that even we lost 6% in terms of US dollars for the first time in the history. A post-halving year was negative.
Yeah.
So yes,
I think many narratives are kind of getting broken. Probably mid of 2026 will tell us that probably the Fourier cycle is officially dead. And we need to see now, because the dollar and fiat currency are getting devaluated so quickly, we need to use as a denominator either Bitcoin for us, that we really believe in this, or use as a denominator gold. for stocks or for Bitcoin, just to have a proper view of what's going on.
Yes, let me show you another tweet that I found today.
Yeah.
Let me open the WhatsApp. Let me open the WhatsApp and check a couple of tweets. I found it. Let me see. Yes. Let me share my screen now. So what we can see here, not here, here, not here, here. Also, if we check the power law of Bitcoin measured in gold, no the power law of Bitcoin measured in fiat, we can see that is very, very deviated from the fair price in gold terms. So we are like probably a couple of sigmas away from the fair price. So, and this shows that we might have a huge movement up in Bitcoin price. So
yeah, unfortunately, Fernando is still, I think, charging the chart. I cannot see it.
Oh, you can. I saw. Probably it's your computer.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Let me show you again. Let me show you again.
Can you show it again?
Let me show.
I mean, I completely understand what you said. Yeah, now I see. Perfect.
Now it's see. So what we can see here is that in the power law of Bitcoin measured in gold terms, we see that the is really deviated. Usually needs to be the normal trend is around the blue zone.
Blue one, yeah,
the
blue.
middle is like the fair price, and we can see that we are even out of the possible zones. When this happened before, was here a huge huge run for Bitcoin. When it was out but up, came a huge down. Here the same. So
yeah, I think, I mean, gold had the largest bull run, or the shortest and more powerful bull run, probably after 1970s. We experienced it in 2024 and 2025. So, and now still in the first month of 2026, it seems that is going on. So I think that this deviation is, we need to give credit to gold bugs, and we need to give credit to gold that has been probably even suppressed by central banks for decades, then now is running wild, is running free. But again, ultimately, Bitcoin has superior properties. Bitcoin has a superior technology. Bitcoin is like the evolution in a digital era of gold. And so likely this chart will go to maybe blue again pretty soon, maybe end of 2026 or 2027.
That's the point. And I think that I want to quote a friend of mine from Argentina. His name is Agustin. He's the I don't know how to say, he's the director or the leader of La Cripta. That is is the biggest Spanish-speaking Bitcoin community on the world. And he posted, I want to see when they use, the EA agents wants to use silver and gold to make payments.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
We will wait.
We will wait. So, and again, we all know that, of course, in terms of money, in terms of store of value, Bitcoin is much better than gold. First of all. Second, in terms of remittance, in terms of money, in terms of settlement, Bitcoin is much superior than gold. So, of course, we are comparing an asset like gold that has been here for more than 5,000 years against an asset that has been here for 17 years.
17, yes.
So, and that nobody still believes of the properties of Bitcoin. Like a few portion of the population can see the benefits of Bitcoin. So, yeah, I think that I used to think in the past, a few months ago, that gold going up was bad for Bitcoin. I think that gold going up is good for Bitcoin because I repeat, gold and silver are the canary on the gold mine, on the coal mine. So they are showing us that fiat is broken. that we are coming to a completely new era. And when you compare the pound for pound, Bitcoin is a much superior asset than gold.
Yeah, and Fernando, I mean, I'm showing exactly what you said about the fiat that is kind of destined to be debased continuously until probably a kind of quasi collapse. And I think this chart as well, it became pretty popular on Twitter again, and I found it very interesting. So as we can see here, there is the money printing that has become exponentially, which is the line in gray, in light gray. And then there is the attempts from the Federal Reserve to try to manage all this mess that, again, when it's exponential, it's very almost impossible to, over the long term, fix it. And as we can see here, we had already two massive print. The first one in 2008, then the second one, which was much larger during COVID. And now, as we can see here, probably the system is trying to tell us that something is about to break, that there is the need of more liquidity in the banking system, that there is more liquidity needed for the overall US complex to work. And as we know, the Fed is starting to QE, light QE again. And if we see this, every time we have this kind of crossroads between those two lines, something very inflationary from the monetary perspective occur usually. Of course, we don't have so many now, entry point, but also in the 2000, during the bubble, we had something similar. So might be relevant to keep in mind that also because of this reason, gold and silver might be the best performing asset class over the last year, because something, as you said, is screaming a problem, danger zone. So
yes, and also another thing of the silver is that silver is used on the drones, on some part of the energy. They have a lot of industrial use.
Yeah,
and it's because of the AI and the energy, and all these are connected with Bitcoin. So I think that gold and silver are the canaries on the gold mine, and of course on the gold mine, no, on the coal mine.
On the
so
coal mine,
I think that these signals are saying us a lot of things. And to those who are on Bitcoin and are patient, everyone has to know that Bitcoin is a long-term game. It's not for a couple of months, it's for years, for decades. That's why you need to listen to Saylor and all the big Bitcoin OGs. They don't measure the short term, they measure the long term. Let me mention something. We are on YouTube. I put a poll, and it says Saylor and BlackRock can take Bitcoin Parabolic, and it's 50% yes and 50% no. If you want to watch our YouTube, it's Libertarian BTC. We are going live there also, and if you can watch us through the channel, it would help us a lot, because we are going to grow the channel even more. Marco, anything else you have to talk? Probably we can talk a little bit about Saylor's purchase of the week.
Yeah, I think briefly we can also close with Saylor. So this week they acquire around 2,300 BTC, mostly with the common ATM stock on MSTR. Very few from Stretch, like I think 7 or 8 million, so very minimal. The 5th of February, there will be the Q4 for 2025. So I think everybody interested in the Bitcoin equity space, in strategy, or in Bitcoin more broadly, they should, take 2 hours of time to connect. Hopefully, Fernando, we can do it like I'm not sure if we can do live, but maybe.
I'm in to do it live. I'm all in.
Yeah, maybe we can cover it, because again, every time is like amazing to witness directly from the board and from Fong Li, from Michael Saylor, and from Andrew and others, like the trajectory of the company, their outlook for Bitcoin, and probably they will announce new stuff. And I think Saylor got a lot of fire against him lately. But again, he cannot control MSTR, and he cannot control either Bitcoin price. So guys, what can we tell you? Just join the ride and not complain always.
Let me tell you something that a guy asked me yesterday. That I got yesterday. I had a podcast in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I end up being like Saylor against this asshole of what Bitcoin did. That I'm super furious because I saw the lineup of the speakers of Bitcoin Vegas, and this asshole of what Bitcoin did is speaking.
I don't think he's an asshole, but I think
he's an asshole. He's an asshole, and let me tell you why. Because you cannot be against Saylor. You can say, okay, I'm not going to invest on strategy. I'm not going to invest in BlackRock. I just do Bitcoin and control my own keys. But you cannot be against Saylor. You cannot be against the Bitcoin treasury companies because they are playing. We are all of the same team.
It's on our team. I agree.
So those people who criticize the Bitcoin treasury companies, they don't understand what they are doing with Bitcoin. So and they don't understand what they are doing. I'm not a Saylor fan guy. I'm not a fan guy but I believe what he's doing, and I believe that the treasury companies are going to change the future of finance. We just need to give them time. Just 1 year. Imagine 2025 was the explosion of the Bitcoin treasury companies. So how can we ask to an industry that has just born to perform and to be and again, like,
it makes no sense. Yes.
And again, if you criticize Saylor, you are an asshole. That's the point. You can buy strategy. You can say, okay, I'm Bitcoin only. I only buy Bitcoin, and I support that because strategy stocks, strategy shares are not Bitcoin. BlackRock is not Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But what is Saylor doing for Bitcoin? The hours that Saylor spend in podcast, in conference, meeting people, meeting CEOs of the company,
billions to buy Bitcoin,
putting billions to buy Bitcoin, I think that you don't have to criticize him. So, and the guy asked me if I were a strategy shareholder, that I am, by the way, because I have skin on the game. It's not like I just speak. And what if I would criticize Saylor because he's not buying gold with the price of gold going up? So he asked me that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Would you criticize Saylor because he's not buying gold?
No, for sure not. And again, I don't like people criticizing without doing, something similar because you don't have the same level of complexity. So it's easy to just complain, especially navigating these, 12 months that we passed on Bitcoin. It was pretty harsh. I think still having like hard debate it's positive. Another thing is just complaining or just attacking people on the same use narrative like Danny and other are doing, that the treasury company are scam. They don't say it directly, but they implying that all the other apart maybe from strategy are scam, which is not true. Some maybe are, but like in all companies, you can find many public companies that are not like performing. So it's up to you to do the analysis and do your own research. Yeah.
And as Saylor said, like, criticize the companies that don't buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the point.
This was a very intelligent and smart from him to say. Yeah, I agree.
So that's the point. And on 5th of February is the call. I'm sure we are going to do live.
Yeah.
It's going to be like probably 4 or 5 a.m. here in Asia. But I'm all in. I love the. I don't know if Diego is gonna be in, but let's see. Let's see. I think that is. You must listen because they are amazing. We covered already, I think, 2 or 3.
I think 2. A couple of them, yeah.
So yeah, let's go with that. And a couple of things related to Bitcoin Treasury Company. Let me share with. Capital V. Let me share something that Alexander shared. Capital V announces the renewal of its ATM type capital increase program with Tobam. So they are gonna buy more Bitcoin.
Okay.
So And the other news is that on Tuesday, the 3rd of February, Smarter Web Company moves from the Aquis Stock Exchange to the London Stock Exchange. So
yeah, that's a great step for them.
This is a great step for them. Yeah. Kudos to Andrew, to I always remember forgot the name. Jesse, to all the shareholders, to all the community of the Smarter Web Company on X. And it's gonna be a pleasure to meet them in Bristol in May. But yeah, Smarter Web Company, and that's the other thing that I want to mention. It's not because I have a good relationship with Andrew. It's like showing how you can turn with a Bitcoin treasury strategy a family business into a company that is listed on the London Stock Exchange. So that's amazing. And again, today it's very easy to kick the people on the, we say in Argentina, when someone is on the floor, it's easy to kick. But I don't know if these assholes that now criticize Saylor would say the same when strategy was $400 or $500 per share. And I am not gonna. I want to see them when strategy become the biggest company in the world in probably 5 to 10 years. So, guys, bullish always.
Bullish always, yes. Yeah, Fernando. I think we can close on that.
And let me add one thing. Most besides the price of strategy, again, what we need to take is the conviction of Michael Saylor since day one. And that's what I was telling yesterday to the guy. Probably if Michael Saylor today say, I will buy gold, I could be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, for sure. But he won't. But he won't.
But he won't. So if he is doing the same since 2020, and he put hours, travel, moments of his life that he's a billionaire already.
Yeah, and
he's already a billionaire.
From a 500 million or maybe 1 billion market cap to maximum of 100 something, and now around 55.
That's the point.
What?
He's
55x in 6 years. Amazing.
The point is that yes, he was already a billionaire. It's not that Michael Saylor is trying to scam people to buy a Lamborghini. He was already a billionaire. He could have been retired, and he's fighting on the same army that we are fighting. Yeah, and I'm sure that he's ready to die on this hill as we are. So,
and to burn his private key and probably to just do a massive donation for the whole Bitcoin ecosystem. So no, 100% agree. Yeah.
So we can close here, and I know that you need to go, but again, we met next week for sure with another episode. We met next week for sure with the streaming of the call. Let me check the
time. I think it's as usual 7 or maybe 6 in USA Eastern time.
Yeah,
so
let's see. I think
6 in the morning.
It's 6 in the morning here in Hong Kong. It's not a bad time.
We can do it. 6 in the morning.
We can do it. So, Marco, again, thank you very much. The poll on YouTube, 50-50. Saylor and BlackRock can take Bitcoin Parabolic, 50-50. Again, thank you very much. And how's your social media?
Yeah, only on X, Batistoshi93. And Fernando, I mean, looking forward to do another episode next week, and also the earnings call from Strategy. I think it's amazing.
And probably next week I will be disclosing some news that I have for the Spanish side on the Bitcoin Treasury Company. Something huge is coming. So if you speak Spanish, stay tuned, because we are doing something great thing. So Marco, again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Fernando. Thank you.
And thank you very much to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, follow Marco also on social media, because doing so, you help us a lot in our mission of painting the world orange. Share this episode with the people you love, share this episode with the people you hate, because we must reach 8 billion people and give them the orange pill. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi.